Welcome to r/ I don't work here lady, where an entitled Karen tries to call the police on someone who works with the police. Our next Reddit post is from Wiggle It Loose. I'm telling you about one event, but I must have a retail face because I'm approached so often. I wear a suit at work. When I stop in at any shop on the way home, I leave my jacket in the car, so I'm just wearing a shirt and tie. I couldn't tell you how many times people assume I'm staff. If they're civil, I'm civil. If they're struggling, I'm helpful. If they're rude, I have fun. The reason I remember this one is because I've said all these things separately before, but this was the first time I got them all squeezed into one single interaction. It just went so perfectly, it'll never happen again. I'd stopped at a large supermarket to pick up birthday candles. I first saw the woman being very rude to another customer for no apparent reason. Imagine Rush Limbaugh in drag. Sorry to put that in your head. She was just impatient that the other customer wasn't moving fast enough for her liking, and so she was insulting her. She definitely ranked above buttholes, let's call her douchebagette. As she turned, I saw the missile lock in her eyes as she spotted me. She galumped her way over. I decided to enjoy it and settled on being deadpan literal. I looked away. Excuse me? Why? What have you done? What? She paused for a second, looking like a dog that had been shown a card trick, then angrily asked, Can you help me? I couldn't possibly know. I don't know what you want. She makes a Tucker Carlson face. Where do you keep your eyelash curlers? I don't keep them anywhere. Yes, you do. I've seen them before. I'm certain I don't. I've never owned any. My eyelashes manage to bend all on their own. I'm more than happy with the bendiness of my eyelashes. Huh? What? No, idiot, I mean the shop. Where in the shop are the eyelash curlers? I haven't got a clue. Why not? I refer you to my previous answer. I never use them. Ugh, are you trying to be stupid? No, it's effortless. This is insane. Are you going to find out where the eyelash curlers are, or would you prefer that I speak to your manager? I'd say neither, but if I had to choose, I'd go for option B. What? You want me to speak to your manager? No. She shakes her head in angry confusion and says, You just said you did. No, I didn't. You asked me which I'd prefer. If I was offered a rectal exam or a slap in the face, I don't want either, but I'd prefer the second to the first. See how it works? This is a phrase I use with my wife when she gives me sucky alternatives. She stood in silence for a few seconds with her mouth open and the deepest frown. She then built up to a shout with, This is ridiculous! I completely agree. Where is your manager? I'm not exactly sure, but my guess would be at home with his family. Ugh, you're being stupid. Who supervises you here in the store right now? She actually stamped her foot twice when she shouted right now. Nobody. What? Why not? Because I don't like to be supervised. I haven't needed supervision in a shop since I was about 9 years old. Oh my god, it's like talking to the wall. I could see that her shouting had attracted a member of management. She was approaching quickly. Why aren't you helping me? Why would I? I think I saw a slight hint of understanding spread across her puzzled face. You do work here, don't you? No. Why didn't you effing say so? You didn't ask me, until now. The manager arrived just as douchebagette shouted into my face, You're an effing moron! The manager said, Ma'am, please lower your voice and stop swearing. There are children in this store. Then she said to me, What's happening, sir? I'm not really sure. This woman was being rude to another customer, then she approached me and started to interrogate me about my personal grooming habits. She wasn't happy with my answers and started to spit and shout at me. No, that's not effing true. I was shouting because I thought he worked here. Whether he was an employee or not, you can't talk like that. You can't abuse customers, and we have a strict policy about abuse towards staff. We don't tolerate it. It's not my fault he's an effing idiot. If he had... She was interrupted by the manager. Please stop shouting. The manager pressed transmit on her radio and said, Security urgent, code 4, aisle 14. And then she said to me, Are you okay, sir? Yes, I'm fine. I just needed birthday candles. Could you tell me where they are? What the effing hell is going? Stop shouting. Stop swearing. If I have to warn you again, you will have to leave the store. And then she said to me, "They're on aisle 22. Okay, thank you." I started to walk away. Meanwhile, Douchebagette was still shouting. 2 security staff turned the corner and passed me on their way to Douchebagette. I could hear her shouting for another 30 seconds. The next time I saw Douchebagette, I was standing at the self-checkout. She was being followed out of the store by the security staff. She was complaining into her phone, loudly but unclearly, about the shop, the staff, and some effing moron as she left empty-handed. Do you think that moron was me? I was wishing so hard for her to look left and see me, but she didn't. If she had shouted at me, regardless of what she said, I was going to raise my little box of candles and say, "Yes, thanks, I found them." The whole thing was so funny. I almost broke and nearly started laughing when she stamped her foot in time with "right now." I've been mistaken for staff dozens of times, but I've never had it go so perfectly. Probably never will. Don't expect a sequel. Our next Reddit post is from Sean NJ. A few years back, I worked as a police dispatcher. We were required to dress in business casual, so khakis and a button-down or polo. So after work one day, the girlfriend and I stopped by Target on the way home to grab a few things. I'm wearing, you guessed it, a red polo with khaki pants. I also have an ID badge on my belt denoting Communicator Joe Schmo Police Department. I grabbed some olive oil and brought it to my girlfriend, who told me that she bought some a few days ago. So I go back to the olive oil aisle and put it back. I put it back in its proper place because I'm not an inconsiderate a-hole. Anywho, this lady comes up to me and asks where she can find some brand name dog food. I just thought she was asking for my opinion, so I gave her a general direction. She left. Like 5 minutes later, I'm looking at Harry's razors and I feel someone poke me on my shoulder. I turn and find the lady standing there looking displeased. "My dog food wasn't where you said it was." Well, I don't know. I guess ask someone who works here? "I am you." "Nope, don't work here." I turn and look away. "Yes, you do. You were stocking shelves." "Yeah, don't talk to me." The lady grabbed my arm and pulls me to face her. You ever get a sudden flare of anger? I did. This woman touched me. "Young man, I'm a customer and you had better." "Don't you effing touch me." My voice was a little raised now. "Touch me again and you and I are gonna have a problem." She was obviously taken aback. She said something about me being fired and a manager and scurried away. I found my girlfriend and we went to check out. At this point, it still hadn't really clicked that she thought I worked there. I just thought she was rude. We get to the self-checkout, and the lady, this time with a Target employee, approaches me and my girlfriend. "That's him. That's your stock boy who threatened me." "What the F? I don't work here, lady. Leave me the F alone." The manager, looking nonplussed, says, "You don't work here." "Nope, this chick started bothering me, then grabbed me." My girlfriend says, "He doesn't work here." "Don't lie to me. You were stocking shelves and told me where to get dog food." "Leave me alone or we're gonna have real problems." "How about I call the police and tell them how you just threatened me?" "I effing dare you," and I show her my ID badge. "Let's see how that works out for you." The manager takes the opportunity and just says, "Have a nice evening," and motions the woman away, and she follows. She just sort of gaped at me and she saw that I was, in fact, not an employee of Target, but of the police department she was going to call on me. Not a big story with fireworks, but still one to tell. Our next Reddit post is from a long string of numbers. I am so angry right now. This happened nearly 2 years ago, and I could still punch the old bat. Long story short, I recently lost my newborn due to having underdeveloped lungs. He survived for 2 weeks, but a month ago, we made the awful decision to take him off of life support. Obviously, I'm still not okay, but the one thing making everything worse was having all of his clothes and things that we had prepared for him to come home to, and he wouldn't be. Me and my husband decided that it might make things easier to return some of the stuff and donate the return money to the hospital. It's stupid, but it's like, at least we might be able to help someone else's kid have a fighting chance. Anyway, we hit to one of the big department stores in a big shopping district in London. The shop is known for somewhat older clientele. We finished returning the stuff we had with us on the top floor, and there was a cafe thing with a seating area. I needed to sit down and, well, just pretend I wasn't there for a moment. I finished getting a drink before my other half has collected his food, so I had to find some seats for us. To do this, I head back through the cafe opening by the close as I just wanted to head out after. I didn't want to see any more kid stuff. As I'm walking past this small stretch, there's a tug on my coat. I look thinking I snagged it, but there's this older woman who doesn't deserve to be called a lady holding on to me. I miss what she said, but it's clear she said something as this woman tugs on my coat, pulling me towards her. Like, seriously, pulling me an inch from this shriveled up, old, mustached, rotted teeth smelling face. I try to get away and ask her what she wants at the same time. This is what was said next, and I can remember most of it because it made me want to kill her. I said, where are the small dresses? I'm sorry, I don't know. Please let me go now. I have to go. I asked you a simple question, young lady. Don't be rude. All of this was said with the smell hitting me full in the face from her mouth. Let my coat go. I just need to know where the dresses for age 6 are. I don't effing know. Now let me go. I pulled my coat out of her hand, and I just really wanted to sit down now. How could you? You should respect me as an elder. Who raised you? At this point, I'm walking off. I don't care about this deluded old woman. I need to sit the hell down. My body isn't completely back to being able to fully stand for a long time, so I needed a seat. I sat down with my husband for what must have been a good 20 minutes. I told him what the shouting he said that he heard was about and said it was nothing. Then I hear a commotion, and this old bat looks like a bull charging at me, making her way through the tables to where we are. She throws a little dress down onto the table and into my husband's food and points at it. This is what I was looking for. Do you see? Do you see now? This little one is a dress. You put granddaughters in it. This was all I wanted, and it wasn't too hard for you to get it for me. My husband says, whoa, back up. Why should she get it for you? She works here, or are you a fool too? I don't work here. Take that thing and just leave us the hell alone. I'd pushed her dress off the table and onto the floor at this point. She works here, she's wearing the colors. It's true, the coat I was wearing was near the green of the store, but it was a coat. A full coat, and you can see it's a coat. She doesn't work here, just go away. Well, that's obvious now. I should have seen it before. It's obvious she couldn't tell what a child's clothes are from a badger. I do admit writing it now that I lost it a bit. But I had all of my son's clothes picked out for months. I did everything with that. I loved doing it. I had just returned the outfit that we had bought for him to come home in. If we had been returning anything else, I admittedly probably would have been okay. But she just said the wrong thing at the wrong time. I flipped a little. I started screaming, crying, and shouting for whoever was poor enough to hear my voice. Telling her what we had just did and how she was lucky to have a child, let alone a grandchild to shop for. It was just word vomit. My husband finally calmed me down enough until I was just sobbing. But give that old bat her due, she just stood there and stood through everything I said and listened to it all. After a moment, she opened her vile mouth and said to us, "Maybe it's better that way for people like you." How my husband managed to keep me from hitting her and not hitting her himself, I don't know. By this time there was a crowd, and I could see random people just standing there, and there was also staff. I wasn't sure what they did or said, but that old bat went off with them. 2 of the staff stayed behind with us and partly apologized. I can't remember what he said, but I heard sorry. I just wanted to get out of there at that point. I hope that old woman ends up in the ground soon, and painfully so. OP, I'm impressed that both you and your husband were able to keep your cool, relatively speaking, and not assault that lady after she said that, because I think most people probably would have resorted to violence there. Our next Reddit post is from The Good Life PF. I don't know if this goes here, but I don't know where it goes, and I wanted to rant. There was a girl in my high school that was gay and had parents that were very against the idea of being so. I basically agreed to be her beard for 2 years in high school because they often pressured her into getting one and asked if she was gay beforehand. We'd kissed in pictures on an account she used that her siblings saw, and other people had found it and knew the story of why we did what we did. Fast track to about a week ago, and I ran into someone who knew me, but I didn't know them from high school at a party, and they said they wanted to seem successful with a boyfriend that was doing well and was okay looking. The dialogue is roughly as follows. So, could you come to a dinner for Christmas with me and seem super into me? That's weird, and I don't know you that well. Well, you did it for that other girl and took the money, so why not me? Am I not pretty enough to fake dates? Well, I wasn't paid to do that. It was a favor. And once again, I don't know you and don't want to spend my Christmas faking being intertwined into another family dynamic. So I'm not pretty enough, or you assume I don't have enough money? At this point, several of her friends are saying if I'm already a prostitute, then why not do it unless I think she's too ugly or something? I say, I think this is a gross exaggeration of what it was. I'm not a gigolo and I don't do anything like this for money. They start saying that they'll pull a fund together for this, and I assume this is some kind of drunk chick thing and walk away. I am later asked to leave for calling them ugly. I didn't, and I'm called a butthole by an assortment of women on the way out. Was there a better way to handle this, or are drunk people just looking for a reason to be mad? I love this response from Right Lightning Road. Take the money, and then hire a loser to show up for the party. Then text her that you're a pimp and not a hoe. That was r/I don't work here lady, and if you like this content, then check out my Patreon where I publish extra videos. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.